Namo Adida Pha. Thanks so much for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The fourth mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful speech and the inability to listen to others, I vow to cultivate loving speech and deep listening in order to bring joy and happiness to others and to relieve others of their suffering. Knowing that words can create happiness or suffering, I'm determined to speak truthfully with words that inspire self-confidence, joy, and hope. I will not spread news I do not know to be certain, and will not criticize or condemn things of which I am not sure. I will refrain from uttering words that can cause division or discord, or that can cause a family or community to break. I am determined to make all efforts to reconcile and resolve all conflicts, however small. For Dharma lessons, we're reading Ajahn Munindo's book, Unexpected Freedom, and today we're continuing in a chapter on prayer with a section on the dynamics of prayer. To find our own words to express our innermost wishes can be of great significance when it comes to finding out how to take responsibility for our own hearts. It opens a pathway whereby we connect with that which is deepest within us. All aspects of our being are gathered together, focusing intent. It is also a way of investing a form or an outward gesture with spiritual power. When I light incense, I silently make this prayer or some variation on it. May the fragrance of the truth permeate all aspects of my being. Activity of body, activity of speech, activity of mind. When prayer is made with feeling and emotion, made with intention, because body, speech, and mind are all involved, there is power in it. In that moment of offering, something is done. I can't say precisely what this something is, but it is of relevance to the path. In connecting consciously with that which one longs for, beyond the realm of causal concerns, one's life is given direction. Mindful prayer, informed by wise contemplation, is a way of revealing our most treasured aspirations and allowing them to guide the rest of our life. When I lived in Thailand, I noticed that there was something in common between the Buddhist monks and the Christian missionaries in their use of a particular word. The Thai Buddhists often discussed the importance of making adhitthan, which is the Thai version of the Pali word adhitthana. In Theravadan Buddhism, adhitthana means a conscious, determined intention to practice with effort and dedication. Thai Christians use this very same word, adhitthana, when they talked about prayer. My prayer life as a young person came with an understanding that there was some almighty authority out there who was somehow responsible for everything that happened, and that if you had a ticket, you could get a privileged relationship with this character, and he would do what you wanted, if you asked nicely. The Thai Buddhists don't have that idea at all. That is not part of their conception of reality. After a few years as a Buddhist monk, I came to realize that without having to believe I was talking to an all-powerful figure who I had to obey and appease, I was able to give voice to the heart's wishes in a genuinely meaningful way. The heart longs to speak and be heard. Some of you may be acquainted with the Bible, where it says in Psalm 130, "Out of the depths I have called unto thee, O Lord. Lord, hear my voice. May thine ears consider well the voice of my complaint." I believe that the heart's longing to be heard is most naturally served by engaging in prayer. For those of us who were brought up as theists and learned to pray in that context, but later, feeling unfulfilled, withdrew from that form of religious expression, it can be an uncomfortable and difficult prospect to begin to pray again. Picking up a prayer life against the background of such associations can bring serious reservations, even fear. I recall having to deal with a strong fear that I might end up losing my faith as a Buddhist and return to being a theist. As things turned out, that testing was part of the process of finding my own way into a prayer life again. By exercising careful mindfulness, one can allow such fears without necessarily believing in them. Just because we're afraid something's going to happen doesn't mean that it will happen. Just because you feel guilty about something, it doesn't necessarily mean that you've done anything wrong. Just because you want something doesn't mean that you'll be happy when you get it. We've all seen how delusive apparent reality can be. When I began to offer up my own prayers in a conscious way, I had to bear with my fears, but at the same time, I was also aware of an emerging sense of gratitude in being able to give voice to those deep longings. Eventually, the worries and doubts subsided, and I found a natural lightness and ease in what I was doing. One evening, I was leading the community at Chithurst when a prayer group from a local church came to visit. After I'd given a talk, I asked if there were any questions. One of the group put up their hand and asked, "What good do you do for anybody else? You don't even pray." I replied that I prayed every day. She responded, "Well, how can you pray when you don't have a God?" What I found myself saying was, the sun shines whether or not it has anything to shine on. The sun just shines. That is its nature. And likewise, it is the heart's nature to speak and express itself. It is not necessary to believe in an external other receiving us. This incident helped me to come to a clearer understanding of prayer from the perspective of Buddhist practice. I came to see that in my practice, the orientation of attention was inward, whereas the person who had asked the question was focused on the object of her supplications, that is, a perceived Almighty. I wasn't expecting intervention from above in the way she was. When I pray, it is for the sake of the heart itself. The heart prays because it needs to if it wants to become free. Our hearts are speaking all the time, but are we listening? We have deep concerns, we have deep longings. With skillful attention, we can enter into a dialogue with this dimension of ourselves and, in so doing, be enriched. The mysteriousness is welcoming and inviting. It is our own true heart and with which we are engaged. We don't need to be afraid. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be at peace. Namo Aditya Phat. Thanks so much for joining me today.